Hello, everyone. Are you ready for day 2 of our Get Back on Track to Happiness? So, yesterday, wasn't that pretty cool? We faced our fears, right? And, once you realize what they are, some of them you probably don't even realize where they come from. Did you? Did you know where they come from? Um, and sometimes we're scared of something that has happened to, our mom or our ancestors, right? Or something happened to us in a past life, okay? Or even something that's happened to us now in this life, right? We never know, right? And yeah, so what was, so grab your workbook. And did you guys bring a mirror today? Did you? Because we're going to need one. Okay. So, what was your happiness score yesterday? Was it like, oh God, my life really sucks. I can't handle this no more. All right. Or was it a 10? Man, life is amazing. I cannot be any more happier. Right. Or are you a little bit in between? Um, I have an amazing job. I have an amazing relationship, but there's just something inside of me that just doesn't feel right. Right. And you just can't put a finger on it. Right. And sometimes you get triggered by things that just don't make sense. Right. Have you guys ever done that? Yeah. So put your number down. Okay. What was your number from yesterday? Because we're going to get track of that for the next 2 or 3 days. Okay. And then remember, we wrote down all your fears, okay? And then we erased them. We have that magic eraser and we just erase them all away, right? Because people are always saying, oh, you gotta let that go. You gotta let it go. It's no big deal. It's over with. But sometimes things get stuck, right? Just like when you're driving down the road and you got these brand new brakes and you're going really fast down the highway if you drive like I do. And then all of a sudden, a deer jumps out in front of you or a car cuts you off and you're slamming the brakes on and, they get stuck, right? They get stuck on. And you're like stuck there and you're just spinning your tires, right? You're trying to get going and get going and get going, but you can't, right? Have you guys ever done that before? Yeah, I do quite a bit. So yesterday we did the clarity quiz, right? So we figured out, what our fears were causing us and what we had to do, what you did to fix those, right? Like when I was thrown in a pool and almost drowned, right? I was petrified of water. I couldn't swim. I couldn't get on a boat. I couldn't do anything for about 30 years until I took swimming lessons. So sometimes, you have to go to therapy or, sometimes you just wait it out or just don't even go near those things, right? So, yeah. And then we figured out how we want our life to be like. So this is what we're going to do today. Okay? So, guys, there is a link above here that says StreamYard for Facebook. So if you guys can click on that and then come on back, that way I can see who's commenting, okay? And also, if you can see me and hear me, let me know, because I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the whole wide world. So, yeah, so let me know. So on day 2 today, okay, I want you to write down what your happiness score is, okay? Did it stay the same? Or is it creeping up the scale a little bit? It's like, oh, well, maybe that's why I'm not happy, because of this fear, right? I love the finger. Yeah, it's not a middle finger, but it's a thumb. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I should have had that one. Like I should have had one with the middle finger for when we did our fears, right? Because we could give them the finger. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'll have to see if I can find one. But yeah. Yeah, so where are you in the scale here? Do you feel like, oh yeah, I can get over this. I can do this. There is still hope for me yet, right? Or did you stay the same? Okay. Because today we're going to fill us all out. Okay, so get a pen. Get a piece of paper if you don't have the workbook. If you need the workbook, put hashtag workbook in the comments and I can get that to you. Okay. And my little friend and I, give me a name. Do you guys have a name for this guy for me? He's going to be important here today. So I want you guys to know, to give him a name, right? Yeah, he's kind of thin and bony, right? So yeah, so give him a name, okay? And because we're gonna explain what's going on with him, okay? So on your first on the first page here on page 9, okay? So the first thing was, now I want you guys to think of your future, okay? And I want you to think of what you want in your future, okay? So on the first page here, it's like, this is my best year yet. And it all worked out according to my plan because what? What did you do that changed your whole life? That made it 100% better. Okay. And just write that down. It could be, you got a new job, a new career, you get accepted into school, or you're taking a course that you always wanted to take, or you got rid of Scully, that's a cool name, or you started a business and it's booming, or anything at all, right? You got rid of some of that fear, right? That was holding you back. Well, that's a good one too. Okay, so write that down. Right. Now, the next one is when I finally stopped associating with blank. Okay, now I want you to fill that blank in. I started feeling better about me. Now, we always associate each other with something, like things that have, maybe you were rejected by a high school crush or gym crush or whatever, right? Or anything, right? And sometimes when you stop associating with feeling rejected or, being not worthy or feeling not good enough, your whole life changes, right? Because we all deserve an amazing life, right? And, but a few years ago, I didn't think I did. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was anything special. I didn't think that, I didn't think I was good enough for anything at all, right? So, but now, I feel amazing about my life and where it's going and what I want to do. Okay, so so write that down. Now, the next one is, I feel more loved than ever because what? What is it that you did to make yourself feel more loved than ever? Now, it could be, more love from your family or your friends. It could be, your coworkers. It could be yourself, right? Yeah. So what did you do to make you feel more loved? Okay. You can even go and take care of yourself, like doing self-care. Self-care is amazing. A lot of us don't do it. I know I probably don't do it enough, but yeah. And that just shows you that you are worthy of having self-care and loving yourself too, right? Yeah. So here is a fun one. Now I want you guys to write this one in the comments, okay? When I'm a bit down or off, which is rare, I sing. Now, what song do you sing? Okay. And like magic, I am happier. Okay, so what is the song that you guys love to sing? I'm going to date myself because you guys probably already know how old I am. I sing Tina Turner, Simply the Best. Or I have a couple. Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper. And when those are on the radio, I am Latin it right out, right? So Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So now I want you guys, before we go to the next page, I want you guys to grab your mirror. Okay, if you can grab your mirror for me. Now, this is one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Okay, so do you guys have your mirror? Let me know in the comments if you have your mirror ready. Okay, you can even use your camera on your phone if you don't have one, or yeah, so anything, compact, whatever. I need you to have a mirror for me. Okay, and we're going to look into your future. Okay, so do you guys have your mirror? Let me know. Do you have a mirror? Put it in the comments if you have a mirror. So what I do, guys, is I show dynamic women who have been knocked down by a trigger or a trauma or what the hell ever, and they just can't figure out how to get beyond it. I show them how to rise up so they can take back control of their life again. And sometimes, it's hard to get back up on ourselves, right? Sometimes we need somebody to help lift you up. Okay, so, and give you guidance for that. Okay, so, do you guys have your mirror? Now, this is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Okay, now I want you to look in the mirror. Okay, and what do you see? What do you see in the mirror? Explain yourself. How would you explain yourself right now? Okay, and I want you to write it down. Now, I have, there's a page in the book, in the workbook here, that's empty for notes. Okay, so it's just for notes here. Now I want you to write down what you see when you look in the mirror. Okay, so when I first started doing this exercise, I couldn't look myself in the eye. I always complained about how I looked. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like how my hair was. I didn't like my gray hair that's coming or the wrinkles that are coming. I didn't like my smile. I didn't like anything at all. I just didn't like me. And I didn't like how I felt about myself. Right? Even though, I was working on that, I feel good. Right? I felt ashamed. I felt depressed. Sometimes I was really worried about what other people thought of me. And I was always felt like I was unworthy or wasn't good enough. So I was very quiet and shy, very inward, right? I kept a lot of things bottled in. So is this you guys too, right? Write down what you see in the mirror. Oh, hi, Ange. So what do you see in the mirror when you're looking in the mirror? Okay, and I want you to write that down. And then I'm going to show you an exercise to do to switch all that. Okay, so tell me when you're ready, when you're done. Okay, so what do we do here? You know how people are always going from therapist to therapist. They go from one healing session to another healing person or a Reiki person. I've had people say, oh, I've had Reiki done before. I didn't do a thing. I said, oh, how come? I don't know. It was just weird. I just laid there and and they didn't say a word. They just said, oh, okay, well, we're done. Here, this is what happened. See ya. And it's not anything good. No, right? Yes, you do have to, and you have to look in the mirror and you have to tell yourself what you look like. What do you see in there? Okay. If it's not good, then we have some work to do. Okay. So, but we're looking for things in different places, in different pieces, right? And our energy is scattered everywhere, right? And we don't want that because that makes us more depleted. It makes us more tired, more cranky. We're going to procrastinate more. Your ego is going to pop up and you're like, this is shitty. This ain't working. Let's go back to where we were, right? So this is why it's so important to have everything all in one spot, right? Have your energy all in one spot. And, I'm not saying that these other therapies aren't great, and I'm not saying that you have to give them up. Because if they're working, then keep it up, right? Um, but, if you have your arm off, or your leg off, or, your head popped off, or you're lost some ribs, you're not whole. You're not one thing, right? So this is why our Scully here is so important, right? He's all in one piece, right? And, all the pieces are here. And this is how I work with you guys, right? Everything is all in one spot and it's individualized, right? So just because something works for somebody else, I got you to do whatever you feel right to do, right? The interview that I posted in the group for Carrie, she's still changing. Her intuition is blooming. She told me there the other about a month ago. We got on a chat, and she goes, "The weirdest thing is happening." And I said, "Oh, what?" She goes, "I think my intuition is, coming back." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's good. That's supposed to happen." And she goes, I said, "Why? What happened?" And she goes, "Well, I was mowing the lawn, and I mowed beside my house there, and I always turn around and come back." And she said, when I mowed the lawn and went one way, something told me there was a lighter in there, and you don't want to hit a lighter that's on in it with a lawnmower, right? So anyway, she's like, "Where in the heck? I didn't see no lighter when I was back there." So anyway, she turned around and kept mowing, and where she came from, and there was a lighter right where she had mowed, right? So she was like, "That was the weirdest thing." And I was like, "Well, that's amazing," right? Because this is how, when you release all this trauma, when you release all these fears, your intuition is going to be so on point, right? You're just going to feel so much better. Like, I am very rarely sick, very rarely. And when I do get sick, I usually have, like a sore throat or stuffy nose for maybe half a day, and then that's it, right? I'm not like I used to be. I used to be so burned out, so tired out that I'd be flat out in bed for a week. And then I'd have to drag my ass out of bed just to go to work, because if I lost too much time, they were going to fire me, right? So, yeah, so now so are you guys done with the mirror? All right. So now I want you guys to look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, "I love you." Can you do that? That was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, was to say that. I could not look myself in the eye. I did not love myself enough to do that. Right? I used to say, "Oh, I love you." "Oh, love you." Or I look down the sink, "Oh, look, I love you," while I'm brushing my teeth, right? But yeah, I couldn't do it. And I couldn't say anything nice about myself either, And it took me 6 months, at least 6 months, just to say, look myself in the eye and say, "You are amazing. I love you. You have great hair. You're sexy as hell. You've got this, right? You're going to have an amazing day," right? And I still do that to this day. I still go in every time I go to the bathroom. I look in the mirror, and I was like, "We're good. We got this," right? And it's kind of like a little pep talk, right? So when you have these negative thoughts going on in your head about yourself, you're internalizing that. And your inner child in there is like soaking all this up, right? And if she's not happy, you're not happy. And your ego is like, "Yes, I'm winning this," right? So tomorrow, come back with your date. Okay, so I want you to bring a date. And so it could be anything at all, stuffed animal, a doll, a teddy bear, anything. Okay, so yeah, so try that exercise with the mirror. Okay, so if you guys can say good things about yourself, or just try it, every day, even if you just say, "I like myself. Oh, look, my hair is good today," or anything, right? So just keep trying it, because the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And it's going to be really hard to do at first, but you can do it. Like if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? Yeah. So let's get back to this workbook here. So now we have page 10 here. We have 3 core principles that you can obtain your happiness forever. Okay, do you guys know what these are? The first one is, oh, hi, Amanda. One of them is the triage. Okay, that is the fundamental level. All right, the triage. Have you guys ever heard that word before? No. Do you know what it is? If you go into outpatients or emergency at the hospital, you go to a triage nurse, right? And she assesses you and she finds out exactly what needs to be fixed first, right? She's the one who says, okay, this heart attack victim is this person's having a heart attack. So this one here that has a sore finger can wait, right? So we assess what needs to be done first, okay? And we awaken that up so that you can get on with your life, right? So we can get to alignment with your dream life, okay? So this is what we do with the first level is the tools, okay? Or the tools is the next thing that we do. So I give you the tools that you can work with anytime you need them. I have an amazing woman. She's coming in on Thursday for an interview. And she will tell you about one of the tools that she used and what happened to her. And yeah, it's so funny, the way she says it. But yeah, she was pretty amazed. She had no idea why it was doing that. So so come back on Thursday. We're going to have a special guest, and you're going to love her. You're absolutely going to love her. So now these tools are things that you can use anytime. They may be a little weird. They could be something that you've already done before, but sometimes that's just not enough, right? I explain everything all out, like you have, so we're actually building you up a toolbox, right? And this toolbox, you open it up and it's kind of like a roadmap to your brain, okay? So when you have a trigger, or if you have somebody in your family that's toxic and that's putting you down, or you have something that happens to you, an emergency situation, and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed Oh, I think my internet is funky. So so just hold on. If you can still see me and hear me, let me know. Okay. So if you guys want the replays for this or for yesterday's, put hashtag replay in the comments and I can get those to you. And if you need some help with these things, if you want to know more about the triage and then these tools, right? Because once you use those tools, we find the root cause, right? And you give you the tools to use, we work on your transformation, right? And this transformation will tell you all about what's going on inside of you. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to attract things into your life that you've always wanted, right? And we're going to keep you there. We give you strong boundaries to keep you up there because we don't want you sliding back, right? We don't want you being good for about 6 months or 2 months or even 2 weeks, right? And then something comes up and it triggers you and you're sliding back down, right? I was doing some posts and stuff in some of the groups, and I put in, someone asked me, okay, well, what is it that you do? So I said, well, you know how dynamic women are leaders in their field, and sometimes they get knocked down by a trigger or a trauma or what the hell ever, and they just can't figure out how to get beyond it. I said, I show them how to rise up so they can take back control of their life again. So one of the women did not like the word trigger. She was triggered by that word trigger, and it caused her to have PTSD because of it. And I was like, well, what was the trigger? Well, I got kicked out of that group because I asked that question, right? So, I mean, like, if you don't know what the trigger is or where it's coming from, then, you got to get rid of those. Okay. So, yeah, so we don't want you sliding back down. We want you to stay up here. We want your vibes up here because right now your energy level is way down here. Okay. And what you want is way up here. So there's this big gap, right? So I show you how to rise up, okay, and meet what you want in your life. Okay. So, yeah. So on the scale of 1 to 10, okay, I want you guys to write down in the comments on the scale of 1 to 10, like 1, no, I'm good. I don't need to be any happier. Or to 10. 10 is I can be a lot happier. I want more happiness in my life. I cannot have enough happiness. Okay. So how important is it for you to be happy? Okay. Put in the comments between 1 to 10. Okay. Let me know. Because I know I'm like 1,000. Right? It's so important to be happy for me because I was so miserable and so low and so sad and so depressed and for so many years, right? And now I'm like the most happiest person you could possibly think of, right? And when things do get me down, sometimes, things happen. Life happens, I had a home care client one time that he made me feel like shit. And usually that would trigger me and I would be down and out for probably years, right? Because all of that self-worth issues would come back, being not good enough, not knowing what to do, my job. And yeah, so I was taken aback by that because I don't get triggered. But something inside there just kind of like, okay, where did that come from? Right. And I had to look in and I was like, okay, there's a little residual thing I have to work on, right? So I went, figured it out, got rid of it, and now he doesn't trigger me no more, right? Because I went back to this client and I was ready for him, right? And, I went there and I didn't trigger him at all. And I think he might have called and told my where I work not to send me back there again, so because I've never been back. So it worked, right? Yeah. So I also want you guys to know or to find out who is the number one person that you go to when you need a pick-me-up. Like, who do you go to when you're sad or down or having a bad day? Who is it that you go to? Who is it that you talk to? Okay, now write that down. Right? Are you with me? You still there? Okay, I know it's a lot. It's a lot. And but this is what we go through to help you get happy, right? You've been miserable for all these years. It's time to be happy, right? And I know I've been there. I've done it. I've heard people's stories. I've helped people heal. I had a coach one time. She was a manifestation coach. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to learn about that. So anyway, I joined her group. It was only like, I don't know, a 6-week course or something. And so we become friends. And she was telling me that she has this energy around her, right? And she just can't shake it. It's really heavy and dark and powerful and scary. And she's just trying to get all this stuff to get rid of it, right? And so one day she told me that she did this thing and got rid of him. And I was like, no, he's still there. And she goes, how do you know? And I said, because I can feel it. He's still there. And she says, so she sends me his picture, right? I know I told this to Angie yesterday. She sent me his picture. And, as soon as I saw that picture, the hair just stood up in the back of my neck. And I had goosebumps from head to toe. And I was like, shit. And she goes, what? And I was like, and I closed my eyes, right? Because all I could see was red. And it was just, all I kept hearing was evil, 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 evil. And I was like, oh my God, you've got to get rid of him. Like right now. Like, I don't care what you say, we're getting rid of him. And she goes, well, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And I said, well, you just give me permission to do it. And so anyway, she goes, do it. I don't care what you're going to do. Just do it. So anyway, I go and I tune into him and we're battling it out. Right. And I got rid of him. Right. He was not happy. His energy was pissed. He was pissed off. Right. And of course, my coach is in Australia. It was her ex-husband. He was in the UK. They're still alive. They're both still alive. But you can still feel people's energies around you, right? That are pretty toxic or pretty controlling. So anyway, I got rid of him, right? But I protected her so that nothing could happen, like her or the kids, because she didn't want any, she didn't want the kids involved in this either, right? So anyway, she goes, well, why is it that he's there? Why is it so strong? Like, why couldn't I get rid of him? Why is there such a connection? And I said, oh, okay, well, let's see. So I tuned into her and I saw, you know how that story is about Rapunzel let down your hair. She's up in this big tall tower, locked up there all by herself with no way out. Well, this is where I saw her, right? She was shackled into this tower and she couldn't get out. She couldn't get free. And so I snuck in and I broke the shackle and we escaped. And she goes, why was it so, why was I there? Why were we connected in a past life? And I said, because he was a very evil man. And you were in his cult, you were his slave, his prisoner. And this is why, in this life, he had such a hold over you. Okay. So he went and she got psychic bombed. Now, I don't know if you guys know what psychic bombing is, but it is where you can feel the energy, and they're bearing down on you and you can just feel it. Right. And so she and her friend were there and she's like, oh my God, I feel this really heavy energy, but it's not around you or around the house, but it's like really suppressing. And she goes, oh yeah, we got rid of him. Angie got rid of him for me. And, he's not happy. He's there, but he's not hurting me. It doesn't bother me anymore, right? So when that didn't work, he come to me, right? And I live in Canada. So his energy kept coming to me and I just kept saying, you have no power over me. I have no idea who you are and I don't care. You can't hurt me. You have no power over me. So, and I said a few other words that I won't say here, but so after a couple of weeks of that, he left and I haven't felt him since, right? She hasn't felt him since. And, her business and her life is just booming. Right. So, so it's kind of cool what I can do. All these energies, energy is everything. Right. And I know you guys will hear all this, but it's everything. Everything is energy. Okay. So are you guys ready for the next part? So I want you guys to know what is one thing you need to let go of to live your dream life. Okay. Just like my old coach, she let go of that energy that was suppressing her, right? I let go of some fears and some self-doubts and some limiting beliefs, right? What do you need to let go of? Okay. I had a client who had to let go of a lot of anger. She had so much anger inside of her that it caused cancer. She said, it doesn't run in her family, but she had cancer. And she said she was so full of anger from her ex-husband, right? And she said, I think I developed cancer because of that, right? So I helped her release all that because she didn't want that to come back. Okay. Right? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been talking all day. so, um, so what is the one thing that you guys want to let go of? Okay. Because that's very important to know because we need to be clear on what needs to be released. Okay. So we can get rid of it. Okay. Um, so what is one thing that you do now that helps you let go of past trauma? Okay. So, yes, I did. I know, Sherry, you have just been going crazy. Like, how is Spain? Like, Sherry's over in Spain right now. so, so what is the one thing that you guys do right now that will help you release past trauma? Okay. I've talked to a woman that worked with me, of course. I have a woman that says she goes to therapy. Sorry, guys. And I said, "Oh, how is that making her?" She goes, "It's working, but I have this therapy hangover for about 3 or 4 days. I got to go lay down." And I was like, "Oh God, that's not good, right? Like, why do people go to therapy if that's how it makes you feel, right?" I had another Carrie in the interview that I posted last night or this morning. She fired her therapist. She was in therapy for years and years and years, right? And some of the tools that they gave her just irritated her. And so she didn't do them, right? So, so maybe like I give you tools, I help you understand, right? And I make them fun. Some of the things, right? She would say, "Okay, that's kind of weird, but I'll do it," right? And you know what? She loved it, and she still uses it today. So, yeah. So, what is it that you guys do to help you heal past trauma? Okay. Now, what will happen when you release that past trauma? Right. So, if you release all of that stuff, you know, um, I've posted pictures of my clients when they first started working with me, and I post their picture about a couple months later. And the difference in them, you could see the difference in them. And it's not just their looks, right? I mean, their looks are totally different. They're happier, they're smiling, they're glowing, they're brighter, right? But their eyes are more alive. Sherry will tell you that she is still surprised by her neck. so, her neck is, because she had such a big ball of anger in her throat, right? And it took us, I pulled that sucker out like it was crazy, right? And, but when we released that, her turkey neck was gone, right? And, so you just feel so much better, so much lighter. And, Thursday, when you come back on Thursday and listen to my surprised guest, you're going to find out exactly what she did and how she's doing these tools. Okay. And what's been happening for her. So on the next page here, guys, I know this is a long one, but on the next page here, because it's a lot of information, okay, is what does your dream life look like? Okay. Now, you could have cars, you could have, your dream car or your dream home or, whatever. But I want you to dig a little deeper, okay? I don't want you looking outside of yourself. I want you to look inside yourself, okay? So what does your dream life look like? How do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? Okay? How do you want to be? Okay. Because right now, when you were looking in that mirror, okay, what did you see when you first looked into that mirror? Okay. And if you were like me, when I did that a few years ago, you'd be like, "I don't like you. I want to feel free." Exactly. I felt terrible. I was drained. I was tired. I was, wasn't feeling good about myself, right? And I was just beating myself up. I was depressed. I was down. I was, I was awful. My self-worth was low. My confidence was down. 3 or 4 years ago, there's no way in hell I'd be doing this right now, right? No. All right. So how does your dream life look like? Okay, who do you want to be? Right? Do you want to be an amazing, happy, confident, what else? Give me some words, guys. Give me some words. What type of person do you want to be? Confident, self-assured, right? Just like Beth Dalton on Yellowstone, right? She's like a badass and nobody fucks with her, right? So if this is who you want to be, that's amazing. Like some of her characteristics crack me up and I'm thinking, yeah, I want to be like her. Okay. So figure out what you want your life to be like. Okay. And then write down those 5 things that you want to attract into your life. Because as soon as you feel these things, as soon as you feel better about yourself, as soon as you get rid of this illnesses, because this trauma is hard on your system, right? It lowers your immune system, so you're sick all the time, and it takes you so much longer to get better. Okay. And and things just get blocked off, right? You want an amazing life, but your trauma has you in this little box, right? So picture yourself standing, okay, and you're in a little tiny box, okay, and in this box is full of trauma. Okay, it's dark, it's dreary, it's miserable, it's sad, it's depressing, and you're in this little box, right? But you have the outside world outside, right? And all you have to do is push open the box. Right? You get me? So, yeah, so you're inside this little box, but the whole universe has a whole world outside there for you, right? And it's like, come on, just open that box, right? Let's be free. Let's be happy, okay? So, write those down, okay? So guys, tonight, that was a lot tonight, but come back tomorrow and bring a date, okay? Scully here will probably be here too, but he's not my date. My date, if you guys know who she is, this is Patsy, so she's my date. So I want you guys to bring a date tomorrow, okay? And we're going to have some fun, okay? Because we did a lot of work. We faced our fears. And, we looked into her future because, my daughter got me this for Christmas last year. Can you guys read that? Your future looks fabulous. Right? Yeah. So this is what's going to happen, right? You guys are going to have an amazing future, an amazing life. And so we're going to get you there. Okay. So come back tomorrow because we're going to have some fun. And so bring a date. Okay, just make sure you bring a date and do that exercise, do that mirror exercise every morning and tell me how you feel. Okay, because in the lives here on Wednesdays nights when I go live, I'm going to ask you who's doing it and how you're making out. Okay, and I'll know. I'll know. So have a great night. If you want any of these replays, put hashtag replay in the comments. If you want to know more about, how this mirror exercise works, or more about how to release this trauma, or releasing these fears. Okay. Put hashtag call in the comments. Okay, and I'd love to give you a call. Oh, you know what? We forgot something. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Oh shoot. No, hold on. I'm going to have to, we got to spin our wheel. We can't go without spinning our wheel. So hold on, guys. I got to find it. Okay, here we are. Where are You guys still there with me? Okay, here we go. All right, let's share that. Okay, can you guys see that? What are we going to win today? Let's see. Where is my do flicky thingy here? Am I going to spin? Here we go. There we go. What is it today? Oh, cool. You want to call with me? Put hashtag call in the comments, guys, and we will hop on a call. We'll get some clarity on what you need to be happy again. Okay, so awesome. That's amazing. Yeah. And I love meeting you guys. I love hearing your stories. So put hashtag call in the comments and we will set up a time. Okay, so have an amazing night. Come back again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and bring your date. Okay, bring your date. Okay, so have a great night and I'll see you tomorrow.